What's up, Podcast America? Welcome to episode 45 of the Enlightened Neanderthals podcast. Do it, Mike. Yeah. And before I forget all my own shit, let's talk about Training Northwest, which you can find at trainingnorthwestllc.com. Our full range calendar is up on the website right now, and I have now added the first aid and ham radio class with our friend Brent, who was on episode 43, I think, maybe 42. Anyway, if you want to support a local Snohomish County business, come on out and see us. We are also a dealer of Vortex Optics, whether you are nationwide or local. And again, want to support a veteran-owned small business, you can order your Vortex Optic through Training Northwest. And if you are local, you can come out and zero it on my range.
That sounds great.
It is. It's some of the funnest afternoons because I've had a bunch of these over the last couple of months. And it's a very low stress, like nice folks come out. They need a little assistance, which I enjoy doing, and get them that small little boost of confidence to get them going down the path.
Yes,
and I that has been my favorite part thus far.
Isn't it crazy? As a Vortex Optic dealer in the Pacific Northwest, you can give out a little bit of warrior spirit, and help craft someone into a better version of who they are.
And that's what we're doing, Mike.
That's very commendable.
What is cool, though, to be 100% honest, is there's not many places you can go and get instruction. I mean, there probably is.
You can't go to Cabela's, buy an optic, and then go zero it on the range.
That's the guy in the parking lot told me he knew everything about shooting. What are you talking about?
You guys never had a Cabela's pop?
Cabela's
never
pop.
done that? Took a shot at one of those
One of those high bay lights?
I did it in the boat warehouse or the boat showroom. And
boat pop. Yeah. Do it over by the big fish tank.
They brought out a lot of those cones, like don't walk here. It got serious.
It got weird.
Fast. Yeah.
Do that.
Oh, goddamn. All right. Marvel Universe of Electric North podcasts. Christy Campbell, Coffee Talk. Greg Anderson, Endless Endeavor. Will Notel, Patriotic Islander. Danny Leyland, White Belt Mafia.
Yeah.
Tyler
Stanaway, Compassionate baby. Viking, Stones and Bones in the flesh.
Yeah.
I think that's all of it.
That might be.
What's the next one that pops off, you think?
It's going to be Brett and Kyle Domestic Partnership.
Can we just say DP for short? I love this, guys. I'm sorry, gentlemen. You're a key asset to the team. Don't stop. Yeah, DP all the way.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah. Holy shit.
You did it.
All right. What are we talking about today, Mike? We came in to discuss
Knights of the Round Table. I'm going to cue this over to Jordan. I think he can take this. Jordan, what did we talk about today?
That was all bird law. I think the Dark Ages, and we wanted to talk about the medieval Renaissance.
Parallels of the Dark Ages and
today. But things went down the rabbit hole of the Neanderthals, and we talked about all kinds of random shit. That is our style. So enjoy. It was a fun one, and we'll see you on.
Take your Ritalin, buckle your chin straps.
46.
So Mike, you're going to carry this one, right?
Wait, I thought not homeless. I thought you wanted to talk about medieval.
I do
times.
I'll
help.
I was a big fan of knights when I was a kid.
So. And right away.
What were we just talking about?
And we're off.
I wanted to talk about the parallels between the medieval ages, where religion largely crushed any sort of like scientific or spiritual innovation through sort of dogmatic culture, and how since COVID, we're sort of approaching a little bit of that ourselves, where, quote unquote, science is the new religion. And if you question it, then you're labeled xenophobic or racist, or they just start throwing words at you that make no sense, but it doesn't really matter because so many people buy in on this sort of slandering in the public sphere of social media and whatnot.
Well, it's not a scalding of science. It's a scalding of credibility of truth, right? It's like the science is all out there and people argue about it, but it's like who it's coming from. Like who's a true speaker of truth? Like, so with COVID, you had WHO, NIH, groups like that, and they would set standards, right? And so something I thought that was interesting about COVID is if you look at how they treated it for people that really, when COVID started rolling through the United States, people that got hit hard, what was the protocol, right? Like, what did they tell doctors to do? And a lot of it would be if you had symptoms and stuff like that, they would tell you to go home and take Tylenol and wait till your oxygen dipped below a certain level, right? And then so people started dying pretty fast with that kind of, like, that was the guidelines, and they really forced it on the hospitals. And doctors that were like, wait, doesn't seem right. I'm going to start prescribing something. I'm going to actually practice medicine, which is supposed to be, as a doctor, what I do for my patient. It's more important that I act upon the patient's behalf than a organization's behalf or guidelines.
Well, hang on. So that's the ideal. However, what we saw from COVID is that the doctors were all too willing to just sort of follow whatever protocols were being dictated to them, even if they had questions about it.
But some were and some weren't.
Very few weren't.
But
very few weren't.
There were enough of them.
Like, I know doctors who were questioning these protocols and still administering them.
Yes. Well, that's safety of job.
They knew that putting someone on a vent and remdesivir was destructive.
Yes,
and
blowing out lungs.
And privately, they knew it, but they continued. Like, they know they followed protocol because that's what they were told to do. And I think so. We're getting into like the specifics. I want to go more from a broad philosophical level. I think that what we're talking about there is the same as, again, they call the medieval period the Dark Ages because of just sort of the squalor that humanity fell into under these really strict dogmatic principles. And it kind of feels like we're heading back there. You know, we said on one of our later or more recent episodes that innovation has been really crushed in the United States and really worldwide. There hasn't been a lot of innovation since the atomic bomb, really. Other than electronic you know what? Hang on.
Innovation.
I might be shooting my own self in the foot.
I would say.
There's been a lot of innovation on the digital technology side.
Digital and like electronics. Yes. But
the internet.
Now, that said, unless you're a company with a shitload of money to pay all the different fees and licenses and, you know, I mean, this, that, and the other, it is still very difficult for someone who just wants to go tinker in their garage and make a living out of pushing the envelope a little bit. Like, you just can't do that anymore. Yeah. So new invention and innovation, I think, has been stifled. And when we go down this rabbit hole of political correctness, where no one questions the narrative because that's the way it's like groupthink, right? Yeah. Groupthink. And if you question the groupthink, then you're immediately labeled a heretic and outcast.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what led into the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
And perpetuated it until the Renaissance.
Yes. Well, that goes back to stifling and who's saying who's right. It's an authoritarian telling someone, either a group of authoritarians or a single authoritarian, broadcasting their ideas on the group, right? And it's always holding people back, whether it's World War II, the Jews are less than, or with the Japanese, other island countries are less than us, and the Americans are soft and weak. But it's always one group saying the other, this is what you're supposed to do for us.
This sort of dark time always comes from authoritarianism, right?
Yes.
So Europe was in feudal rule during the Dark Ages and then emerged from it with the Renaissance. And remember, before the Dark Ages, you have Rome.
Yeah.
That was like the shining example of modern civilization following the Greeks.
Greeks were better than Romans, I think.
And then the Catholic Church came. And with the Catholic Church eventually came the medieval period and the Dark Ages, because it was the Catholic Church that became authoritarian.
Why do you say the Greeks were better than Romans?
They seemed more utopian, and I think they figured out
wrestled
more.
Naked.
Yeah, yeah, you'd like that.
They wrestled naked.
Oh, there you go. Well,
Sparta, right? That's Greek time.
Jordan's business idea: Greek wrestling gym.
Yeah.
No,
I've been
just
saying
butt
this.
naked.
Do you remember a long time ago you said like if you had a company, you'd make someone wrestle you before they got hired,
Yeah.
so you could see their personality.
Like HR screening.
Yeah.
How would that?
That's all I can imagine. It's
That would
like,
be great.
do you like Greek people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like Greek philosophy?
Yeah.
Do you like democracy?
You like Greek statues, Johnny?
Yeah.
Well,
Grab that oil.
yeah, exactly. They just walk in and it smells like olive oil.
You're hired.
We're not going to lunch. Get ready.
We just had dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's about to eat.
Oh my
Why?
God.
Yeah, that's why I think the Greeks were better. I think they were the ones somehow to have
All
a.
I got out of that was oil wrestling.
Yeah.
And we're back.
I think they thrust more. I did thrust. They pushed more. Wait a minute. Look what you did to me.
Yeah.
Am I
Oil wrestling.
dude, you're hired. Look what it did to me. Fuck.
Turn them and burn them.
No, I think Greek philosophy, democracy, their ideas were they were the original founders. I think Rome was more of a copy of that society and civilization, but the authentic ones were the Greeks. And I think the Greeks put a lot of effort into navigating, like traveling outside.
Probably why their footwear was so.
But I think, that's the sandal. Yeah, the Birkenstocks.
Sweet
Remember?
sandals.
Yeah. But I think they tried to procure more information and ideas and technologies and take it back. Whereas Rome did that same thing, but through warfaring.
Yeah,
they were the United States post World War II,
Oh, you're
where
right.
the Greeks before were kind of more the settlers of 1776.
Yeah, Mike, that's brilliant.
Yes,
That's
I think
why you're here, buddy.
Yeah, I have good ideas every once in a while, but that's why I think the Greeks are better.
Checks out.
And that movie, what was it 300?
2 out of 2 fellow podcasters agree.
That's our next shirt. But yeah, what were we saying? Why did I talk about the Greeks?
I don't know.
Authoritarianism. Oh, but there's always been like someone. So like in Roman time, the ruler seems more like a king, where in Greek times, I can't definitively think. I know more philosophers of Greek history than I do actual leaders, except King Leonidas. But
He's got a great front kick.
yeah, great front kick, good deep. But even before that, it's like, well, then you start to go way back into Sumerian and like our earliest
That's a
written
Mesopotamian thing,
history.
yeah.
But that's always still ruled by a group, or Egypt. You know, you have your pharaoh.
But so the Egyptian culture became very advanced, and they did not.
And they were paired kind of with the Greeks, though.
Yeah, and they were a monarchy basically,
Yes,
but they did not run it in an authoritarian manner.
I don't know enough about Egyptian history.
No.
Similar
I saw
program.
Aladdin. That's about as far as my
I
knowledge
watched an
goes.
episode of Ancient Aliens one time. It's about where all I know.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a battery.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Baghdad battery. Yeah.
How'd we get on Egypt?
But like, so their rule, because all of this is about, because I think this is good, because I always say, I think about what's the best way to be ruled. Like, we need structure. There needs to be, I like that if your house catches on fire, a firefighter comes. I like if there's a crazy person, there's a group of cops, that go and they take care of certain things. I like that certain things are provided, but it's like, but what's the best way to be ruled
Well,
I
there's,
think
there's
we-
a
go ahead,
trade-off in freedom that
for security?
for securities
Yeah.
that's being proposed constantly, and that's what I don't like.
An overreach
of and where's the button, where's the hard line?
Yeah.
For me, that is a really impactful thing, direct impactful thing that I deal with on a daily basis, is just that thought of like, okay, can I carry a gun? Should I have a gun? Can I? Am I allowed to? Am I going to get in trouble? And then with trying to start any kind of business, like watching Tobin have to jump through his hoops.
Greg and his parking lot fees.
Greg in the parking lot. Like, I mean,
Jesus.
just all that, it just starts to go, okay, well, why are we doing this? And to see all that, and then
Well, I think we all
None
need to
of that
revert
ruling?
back to a little bit of a early America attitude.
Settler.
So the way this country was initially conceived and founded, I think was a good system because it required citizens to have skin in the game. We didn't have career politicians who spent their whole life, in Congress or whatever. The idea was you would have statesmen who were farmers or blacksmiths, whatever, everyday people who would go do their 8 years at like state government or whatever, and then they would go back to their business.
Yeah.
And even things like law enforcement. Think about only up until the last probably 110 years, out west did you have professional law enforcement. A town might have a single marshal.
Yeah.
And then if an egregious crime egregious crime was committed,
send in the feds.
Well, you'd get a posse. You would literally round up the men of the town, deputize them into a posse, go find the motherfucker and hang him, and then everybody go back to their life.
Yeah.
And so everybody had skin in the game. And even so that even ties into what Jordan was saying about, he's worried about, can I wear my gun in there with my concealed carry license? And my answer to that is we all kind of need to go back to I carry my gun wherever the fuck I want because I have good morals, and I have this attitude that if I see a crime being committed because I know that I have the ability to get involved with and make a difference, I will.
Yeah.
But I also take very seriously the responsibility. Like if I'm going, and this is not me just plugging my company and the classes I teach, that I take very seriously the decision to carry a gun on a daily basis, because if I don't maintain a certain level of proficiency, I'm actually more dangerous to the general public. I'm not an asset to the community. I become a liability. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in order to keep myself on the plane of asset to the community, I have to continually do my work, do my sustainment training, and the same goes for.
Do you think that's obviously right now it's enforced morally, right? You enforce that. You have that.
But that's the trade-off for freedom. Is independent responsibility. Like each person has to have the morality to take the responsibility onto themselves, or freedom doesn't work.
I understand that, but at the same time, at what point is it okay to take somebody's right away to protect the greater population because they're untrained?
Yeah, no, it's so
hard.
What
if nuclear technology, nuclear bombs was easily available and anyone could make them? Should the government step in and be like, "Hey,
they do."
Yeah. But so it's like at what?
Remember that kid who was in his garage?
That's true. Plastic explosive is easy to manufacture. We can't just go buy it.
Yeah. Well.
So it is restricted.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, is it good that an agency is looking out for hey, it seems like this person's making a huge bomb. Maybe they could just be an enthusiast and they're like, hey, I'm going out to a gravel pit and I just want to watch this big thing blow up.
Which most people would be.
Yeah.
But it's that slippery slope where once you give them that authority, how far do they take it? And it just gradually.
But it's authority because of security. Yes. In the eyes of security, authority is always granted.
Which is why the game is fear and making people fearful, because then
you give up your freedoms when you're
you're scared.
Yes.
Look at COVID.
Exactly. Yeah. So that takes us back to that and what things were happening in that.
And it doesn't mean because
you look at the doctors that were doing what they were doing and treating people even though they knew it was wrong, or they knew they were afraid of that, and they were afraid of losing their license or whatever because they didn't
Yeah.
And that to me is like, well, where is the protection of us from that mess up?
Yeah.
There was obviously people lose their lives from that.
Yeah.
Where's the accountability in protecting us from that happening?
Yeah.
Right? But that's not going to happen because that would be the government that made a mistake.
Yeah.
So there's nobody to enforce and hold those people accountable.
I think what they're trying to do is remove skepticism. I think skepticism is key because
they're
it's
trying to crush skepticism and smother it.
But even during COVID, I was fearful. Everyone should have been fearful. I saw what happened with SARS-CoV-1, the original, and
were you actually concerned of dying from COVID?
not dying, because I saw the stats from Italy, and it's like, oh, this is wrecking older people, but it's like this is something new.
Yeah,
and
there were a couple weeks at the beginning.
SARS-CoV-1
was happening.
What came out very aggressive, and somehow, like the immune system nature seemed to work out during the first one, and it kind of squashed itself.
Yeah.
It mutated, transmission wasn't as high, and it kind of let itself off. But then it's like, okay, here's a new one, and it's like, I know about China. If you know about tech and you know about
I think we all also, I think everybody who was capable of critical thinking also went,
yeah,
this came from a weapons lab.
Yeah,
which means there's a high probability that it was developed to kill.
So they told us a narrative about where its origin, right? It's another wet market thing. And then it's like, well, now it's also with a pangolin is in here. And you're like,
bat fucked a pangolin.
And you're like, wait. And then also the bat that's supposed to be at that market, it migrates. And it was a couple thousand out of it, like miles away from its migratory pattern. So you wouldn't normally find. So it's like, wait, there's kind of holes in the story.
Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to look at things from all angles, even narratives, like things I think are right in the way I do diet. I'm constantly trying to be like, well, maybe this isn't the best way. Maybe
hang on. You mean I was just gonna say, you mean Mike's Hard Lemonade and chewing tobacco is not the way to build an athlete's body?
Hey, I got to give for vices, right? Everything else gets cleaned up when certain things get introduced. Yeah. But it's like you should be skeptical, and I think there was a huge push for, hey, this is the narrative. And this is what's waking everyone up, is when one group says this is the only way. And then you get like, what was that doctor that Rogan offered to have RFK debate?
He won't do it.
Right. And so we're seeing debates not happening, or like like, I don't know, the Trump Biden debate was weird, but if you've been kind of into culture, you see that debates are being stopped in colleges quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're getting language that offends and hurts people.
Yes.
And just so having a person come and speak to people, young people with new ideas, and have idea sex, which is the most important thing, is to exchange and share values and
make an idea babies.
And the principle of the university is one of the principle of the university is one that elevated our culture to where it is now, because it was the place where all ideas are welcome, nothing is too radical, and someone may argue with you, but it will be done respectfully, and you won't be shunned for bringing that idea, which again goes back to we don't have innovation anymore, not just of technology. We don't have innovation of ideas anymore because it's being stifled by groupthink.
Well, what do you guys think about getting rid of all state colleges?
They need to go. It's not just state colleges. It's a lot of the private ones too. Like,
of course it is. Like we went on that trip.
But you're right. We should not be funding these state
federal
schools
funding should immediately leave colleges. If federal funding leaves,
and state funding.
Yes, but as soon as federal funding leaves, tuition instantly drops because there's not as much money for the system to just keep feeding itself. Yep. Money in government should be pulled out of colleges. It should be private institutions.
And for the love of God, people, stop taking out student loans. Do you remember your parents' stories of how my dad would be like, yeah, I rented like a broom closet for a couple $100 a month, and then I would eat ramen and sardines. And that's how I got through college.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I took out a bunch of loans and bought a car and bought $4 mochas every morning. That's not how you go to college. No. You go to college living in a broom closet and eating fucking
Panda
ramen.
Express.
Yeah. Or wrestle.
Yeah.
Play sports.
Yeah.
Get motivation and learn building.
That's the thing. But like, what is ultimately college doing for you? I heard
at this point it's just radicalizing people, indoctrinating them.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
I think it's supposed to refine. It's supposed to give direction and refine.
You are putting money on yourself. You are taking a loan to enrich yourself, and that is why that will never go away. You can repossess a car. You can kick somebody out of their house.
Yeah, you can't take
away somebody's knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So the thought, I think, is to keep people not allowing that knowledge that once you have it,
to
it's
just
yours,
be free.
Right? So guess what? We're gonna keep that. And if you go bankrupt, you still owe that, right? So there's always that. But the thought is you are investing in yourself. But if you were to go to a bank and say, I'd like $150,000. I'm 17 and I'm going to start a
Investing
business.
in myself. Yeah.
And I'm investing in myself. And I'm going to, start this business. What fucking bank would be like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out in the next 2 years what the business is, and then I'll
That's
really
right.
start
I haven't
nailing it
decided
down.
what the business is yet, but I will
it's
tell
gonna
you
be
within
something.
2 years.
Yeah,
See, but
and
that's
in 4 years I'll pay you back
Yeah, but that
or start to pay you back.
I think the college makes more sense. Like the bank thing, most businesses fail within the first couple of years. So giving
Most
someone
college kids fail within the first couple years.
yes, but
How
if
many
you
kids-
graduate
how-
college, you're more likely to make higher income.
Bullshit.
I'm not sure I believe that. In
Depends-
2019, I believe you.
Yeah, unless you're a
2024,
doctor,
I'm
a
not
lawyer.
sure.
That's what colleges are supposed to be. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they're
Yeah,
not.
but
They're
they're not.
people getting fucking
Art
global
history
arts
degrees,
degrees
yeah.
that
Yes.
are fucking,
But that's
But
oversaturating
also-
the market.
And here's the thing: is if you went into a liberal field of study, at least you were getting what Jordan called that investment in yourself, because you were going to do some mental weightlifting, where people were going to push back against your ideas. You were going to have to go home, rethink a stronger argument, come back. You know what I mean? So you were developing a very well
Mental
thought
jousting.
out. Exactly, and that was the benefit. But now that's not happening.
Yes.
they are just taught to regurgitate whatever they're being told.
But I have
and
to still
rewarded
think
for it.
we're still getting doctors and engineers.
But hang on. But we just saw through COVID, as we were talking about, that those doctors are not capable of critical thinking. Those doctors are capable of absorbing the information given to them. Then they're patted on the back, given affirmations, told they're the smartest person in the room, and they need to go tell these people what's right for them. And by God, don't prescribe ivermectin, because that's very cheap. And we can't, even though it's
We
on,
don't make money.
and we're going to call it horse medicine, because even though it's on the World Health Organization's list of like most essential medicines for human beings,
But
then we will sort of demonize anyone who doesn't go with our more expensive option that allows us to subsidize with insurance and just run this whole fucking scam.
See, but that's the beauty of COVID. COVID showed us like the system itself and how many people were indoctrinated.
Yep.
The fact that we had like
I'm just trying to
Pierre
shit on your point
Corey,
that doctors are well trained in college.
or Peter McCullough. You know, we live in this time. Didn't Pierre Corey start the COVID first responders
all
on
of those
Facebook
doctors-
before they got shut down by Facebook because
all
they
of
were
those doctors
saving?
who questioned it, like Robert
Yes.
Malone and Peter McCullough, they're all also older. I don't know that we have any younger generation guys who are speaking out, because I think those guys went through the system when thinking was still promoted.
Yeah.
And now we have the younger generation of indoctrinees
Yeah.
who are not questioning anything.
it's not fair of me to say this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
You go, Jordan.
Send it.
Well, there was I was at whatever university, a private university, a Jesuit university, and there is they said 30% or 33% is not with a church, 33% are with a different religion, and the other 33% are
rhymes with Gonzaga.
yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. And when that was happening, you walked around this campus and you go, what is it with all the pride flags? And how do you guys justify that being a religious-based college, a faith-based college? How do you reconcile that? And they were like, well, we accept everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you're in.
I think a true
you're
church
here
should
for
love
making money.
everyone. Yeah.
You're here for making money, and you're doing what you're
Yeah.
doing. But I forgot where I was going with this. Anyway, the fact
Just want to talk about those fucking flags,
those
dude.
fucking flags, and it pisses me off. No, but
Bunch of homos running around our
as a-
religious
as
school
a-
is where he's going with.
Jesuit pedophile.
pedophiles,
All I could think of was that from Tyler.
these Jesuit
Wasn't that
pedophiles,
Copernicus or something? I giggled so hard when you said Jesuit.
I'm walking through the halls and I overhear something, and it's like conspiracy theories and the social something.
That was one of the classes?
One of the classes.
That'd be awesome to sit in.
But I was like, I'm kind of just walking through and I'm catching some flack here. But they're
Flop down in the front row and say, hey, I'm here to argue.
yeah, I got some stuff to say, and they'd be like, you're retarded. And I'm like, That's what you think.
Next question.
And anyway, but they were talking about how like all conspiracy theories are just bullshit and they're not based on anything and you can't believe them. And they're like basically that to the grooming thing, like you just listen to what we're saying. Yeah. All of that is nonsensical. Don't think past it. Don't even allow that to get into your mind.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that it's not like it's creating a shell around your brain as opposed to strengthening your brain to filter the bullshit.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they're like, don't even let these ideas come into your brain because we have just raised you guys to accept what's taught.
Yeah.
So when you're taught something other than this, it's gonna stick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
it feels like they're scared to have actual debate because of that. And I think you look at like how kids from early age, it's all the testing is just regurgitate.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And at some point you just go, anybody telling me something, I read it and I go, okay, great. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And if you start getting people that have wild conspiracy theories that turn out to be true, telling you can't do that or that's not right or think about this, it seems like they're so scared of that because the programmed kids have been programmed to accept what's taught.
They start yelling conspiracy theorist, which is the same as in the Middle Ages they would yell heresy.
Heresy.
And
heresy, dude.
Fucking heretics who don't believe in the teachings of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, dude. We're going to put an A on your shirt.
If you don't agree with dogma, you are a heretic.
And we're going to fucking hate you.
So I think it used to be politics drove culture. And then I think at a certain point it shifted and it's gotten even faster where culture moves politics. And I think where colleges started to shift was, remember when colleges were like, hey, we know you all like to drink and hook up, but now if you drink and hook up, a girl can say she was under the influence and you raped her. She didn't have proper wherewithal to think about what was happening. She could be drunk and you could be drunk, but you're still in trouble now because she's a victim. Right? They started doing this victim thing around kids partying, and that if you ever slept with a girl that was drunk, you're taking advantage of her. And I think they got a lot of people under that influence, like to start to believe that. But to me, it's like, well, then we're saying like women are stupid, aren't we? Like, men can be drunk and they can still make rational decisions. I want to do this. Whereas a woman is like, I drink.
See that cop horse over there? I'm going to fight it.
Yeah. But saying that's a policy where if a guy does something and he's drunk, it's still his actions. But if a girl does something and she's drunk, it's not her actions. And now it's your fault. It's rape. Yeah. Right? So you're taking away
I should not have been handcuffed for punching that horse. Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah. I was under the influence.
But I think they started to, that's a way to attack. Like, you want to start taking over males. It's like, well, a girl can't be drunk now. This thing you all want to do, drink and hook up. And then there's all these women it was a huge thing. Colleges with women claiming rape. Duke University out of the scenario. Oh, you don't remember the lacrosse team raped that girl?
Yeah.
Sorry, Duke.
Sorry. I was checking out there. I was kind of spaced out for a minute.
Yeah.
Sorry, college rape is a huge subject I'm up on, apparently.
My Kozak spends a lot of time thinking about this.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I realized on Greg's podcast that my F-bombs and my stories are greatly affected by alcohol. So there's a correlation. There's a correlation there to throwing my inhibitions to the wind. And maybe
drunk. Jordan sure is drunk right now.
Yeah, maybe there's some sort of repercussions Greg could feel because of him taking advantage and recording me.
Yeah, I've never heard Greg say fuck. You're right. Yeah, exactly. You really ruined the show. Oh my God.
I felt so self-conscious listening to that. I was like, oh man.
I thought you were on fire.
Yeah, I thought Jordan carried our
dude. Yeah, you were on fire.
But I every other fucking word was fucking and talking like this fucking guy and that fucking this fucking thing, dude.
You made us sound fucking good.
Yeah, you carried the show, dude.
Hey, Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah. I did think you were on fire.
That was funny.
Man.
I appreciate that.
And you and Greg get each Greg gets
the two
you
of you
riled.
guys. The two of you guys should do a do a two-man cast
You need to
because,
be on his podcast because he gets you riled up, and then you rile him up because you got stories. He's like, "Tell me more." Like you're beating your dad.
The endless Neanderthal. Here we go. We're gonna fuck these guys up.
It's different though.
It's like two male chimps starting to pound on their chests and getting ready to go battle.
Oh, dude.
It's different though. Not that it's bad, but it's a different dynamic. I mean, going to dinner with my parents and going to dinner with you guys is going to be something completely different.
I would love to go.
Did you take your parents to the Spartree?
They took me there once when I was a kid to see Eddie's Spaghetti and the Meatballs. I was there. I was there before any of you fuckers. It lives in my blood, dude.
Oh my God. Spartree. That's why you were so comfortable.
I'm home.
He was like, I want to try the cheeseburger there. I said, I'm not eating anything out of that kitchen. But Mike was determined. Bro, you put on an eating... I've seen a couple performances out of you now at the Spartree and at the Mexican restaurant.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Little buddy can... I had to throw in the... I had to throw in the white towel, and Mike was like, no, I'm finishing.
We're going. Fuck yeah, boys.
So fun.
I love the Sparky.
It's back to Bud Light, huh?
Oh,
You just couldn't hold.
They're the only one that have the good chilada one.
It is.
I wanted
true.
one.
It's unfortunate and it's true, but
Are we back to chilada? We're gonna have to have a chilada episode again,
dude. We're having
the 1 year anniversary.
yeah.
Back to
Episode
our roots.
52.
Dylan Mulvaney's coming on. He's making us fucking chiladas.
Yeah.
hey boys,
What episode is this? 45.
Cold 45.
I think it's 45. So we're 7 episodes away. We'll get some fucking chiladas.
I think let's put this out there. How's that Instagram going with the Enlightened Neanderthals?
Dick pics.
Are you interacting with the fans?
no, I'm absolutely horrible at it. I'm absolutely horrible at it. I think we should do some T-shirts. And then I was thinking about that. I was like, we could do some cool stuff on there, but there's not a ton of interaction. Every once in a while, we get some. Nick is constantly sending me pictures, or not pictures, but
Of his dick.
videos of just people getting fucked up. And it's like, God damn.
Which Nick?
Gun Nick.
Oh, okay. Big beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's put this out there.
Does he still train here? I haven't seen him in a while.
Let's
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
let's put this out there. To hit our 1 year anniversary, we're gonna get one question. Let's do fan questions, right?
Do you think those are good shows? Or I always hate the Q&A shows on the podcast I follow.
What? But these are our people. These are our little Neanderthals. Plus, we've never named our people
Little
yet.
Neanderthals.
We're supposed to have a name
That's
for
not the
them.
meaning. Hey, you little fuckers.
I mean, that's even better. I like little fuckers. I'm a little fucker. I'm a little fucker. Yeah.
Unite.
That would be a good bumper sticker. I'm a little fucker for our listeners.
Tell you what, if we get a handful of questions, we could do a Q. Let's try it.
Yeah,
we'll
put
see
it
what
out
happens.
there. Because we have weird thoughts. I'm sure people are like, hey, you dummies, talk about this.
Okay. And if you want to get your question bumped to the top of our list, send Jordan a picture of your dick.
He just loves that, dude.
You know what? I'm going to get a picture of his dick here in a second.
I'll hold them down, dude.
This is Tobin flirting.
Give me that sword. I'll hold him down. You pull his pants off. Snap away.
Compulsory dick pic.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. Although Vinny did send me a picture of who was it? Something Harry Dick or some NASCAR driver. It was funny.
Dick Trickle.
Yeah, that's what it was. Dick Trickle. Harry Dick. That'd be a hilarious name.
Should we take a pee break?
34 minutes in. Oh, coming on strong tonight, boys.
Pull us back around then, Mike. We're getting way out in the weeds.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Back to Romans and footwear.
Greeks.
No. Well, you wanted to talk about medieval people.
Yeah.
And I think,
And here's
feels like
another
we're being
parallel.
Talk
Here's
to me
another
about wizards and witches.
Here's another parallel that I see
Gandalf's holding me
coming
down.
is that, I said before, one of our recent episodes, that I worry about like a balkanization of the United States of America. But that wouldn't be, that's not much different than like the feudal system in Europe, where you have a bunch of small sort of little kingdoms all over the place where everybody's sort of fighting over acreage and resources.
Yeah.
And I could, the way the country is becoming ideologically fractured now, I could see a situation like that, because we even joke about it. I call it the independent Republic of Granite Falls, where if things really get weird, we'll just start. We have good leadership in our little community. We'll just start our own little sovereign area. But that is a feudal system, or not? It's not a feudal system because we wouldn't have a king and or a one ruler. But it's that same sort of idea where you'd have a couple hundred acres over here, and then we kind of know the guys down in Snohomish Valley. We've got like an amicable relationship. We trade a little bit of goods here and there, but we also don't trust them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Their women are bow-legged.
Bunch of hoes.
Bow-legged bitches over there.
But that's why federalization of...
We're already making our warlord plans for fucking 2025.
Who's going to trust us? They're going to be the Neanderthals.
Oh, yeah. We're raiding into Snohomish this weekend. We're gonna burn their boats and steal other bitches.
It would be fun. It would be funny if the apocalypse hit. We're like, hey, walk up to a house. Can you help us? We're like, hey, aren't you those guys from that podcast? Get off my porch. It's like, damn it. We did it with heart, though. It was for fun.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it would. But I think the federalization of the United States is like, it's weird to see balkanization happen and it falls apart, because in my head, like, the United States is kind of like a bunch of different territories under the federal umbrella. It's like we'll all get along.
Like a bunch of sovereign states that are united under a federation.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, but it's like,
Good idea.
but it's like, but it's, the thing that's weird about it, though, is like you can have differences. Like the idea of like you want to move to a state, and you're seeing that happen more, like a Florida where freedom happens, or a Texas, or an Idaho or a Montana. Yeah. You're seeing a division, and it's good when there's different provinces and the people are split up. But once you see people starting to flock to certain areas, that's where you're like, well, that's balkanization. That's distribution of resources, getting ready for battle.
And it also leads again into a dark age of innovation and philosophy, because everybody moves into an echo chamber with other people who agree with them ideologically, and then nobody is engaged in mental weightlifting.
With all the people from like California moving out and moving to Montana.
Yeah, you're right.
And
That's
like
true. That's a good mixing.
Texas.
Yeah.
Those people are like, I want the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
But
don't a lot of I guess I don't know. My impression is that a lot of them continue to vote for the same stupid policies that got them into trouble in California.
That's what I mean. And they move to other locusts to feed on the.
Are they doing that, or are they people
Jordan's
that are
fucking mixing of ideas? Let's kill these people.
Yeah, but I do think you have a lot of Republicans like moving from states. Like, yes, don't bring your liberal
we have people
ideas.
fleeing this state and moving to Idaho and Montana. And I got into like, it's one of the few times I've ever commented on something online. Someone said like, get out of Washington now. The state is done for. If you have any kind of values for your family. And I was like, no, I put it on a reply. I said, no, I'm staying. This is my home. They can't have it. And everybody who is moving to conservative states to escape the liberal shittiness, I don't have respect for that, because you're giving up on your home.
Yeah, but I'm not mad at someone going to a state that pays less taxes.
If it's a financial decision, I agree.
I mean, from Washington you move anywhere. We also have financial decision.
Not really.
I mean,
because
whether it's Hawaii
Jordan
or New
and
York,
I cannot make the kind of money we make right now in the inland.
Yeah, but also cost of living is less.
No, I tried to move to Montana. Oh, contradicting myself there, because I considered
I put in an offer.
Didn't get it, so fuck off.
Yeah, so fuck off.
I'm staying in Washington.
Yeah. I got to eat my own shit. I did consider an offer in Montana, and we went to look at houses, and it was the same cost of living there as it is here, and it was a 60% pay cut.
Were you outside of Bozeman or outside
Missoula?
Missoula. Yeah, that's Missoula's big city.
Kalispell's expensive, but the smaller the city you go to as an electrician, the less
money you make. Yeah. Yes. But you go to places like Texas and it's crazy, like how cheap things are at the grocery store. But minimum wage there is like $6.
Who knows, dude? There's no right answer to any of this. It's we live in a fucked up time, and
no, this is an amazing
for
time.
you.
This is crazy to see.
No, well,
even as shitty as it is, it's still like, dude, if I get an infection,
more black and white, because it's not black and white.
No, but it's supposed to get more complex.
So
yeah,
complex, and like. I feel like it was like, okay, the Boston Tea Party, we're throwing all that shit. We're making our stand. What, 3 cents or whatever the hell it was?
3%.
3%.
Same thing. And
talking about $1.
Yeah. Dumbass. It was just, I feel like it was less complex, and it was more like it was less established as well. There was a lot more fringy kind of things going on.
Well, it's more complex too because you just have to look at the reach. Like, I sent you guys that link of that last Tucker, the guy they had on there. God, David something, I forget. It was a good one, but just talking about how entrenched the government is with social media and listening and their own algorithms of data detecting for keywords, MAGA, Trump, freedom,
Insurrection.
Yeah. But it is more confusing because there's so much more tech. Like back in that time, it was so much easier. Like you said, it was like, hey, they're just taking our money.
Yeah.
And now
they
it's
said
like
what they meant, and they meant what they said. And there was no fuckery about it. It was like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
We don't have room for lies. And maybe they were doing, what?
Sorry.
What are you building a chair over it? IKEA table being put together.
My mic stand was slowly drifting down to where I was like ducking and ducking and ducking and ducking.
Shin on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seemed to me like, I'm looking at it from a 4th grade history level, right? Yeah. Like there was some tea and they threw it in the harbor.
America.
Yeah, but there's a certain level of like, it felt like it was pretty straightforward for them. They knew what was going on, and they all got together and said,
it was
hey,
taxes and presents.
It was
British
more than that too. There was, I think they
lot.
called it like the egregious acts of 1768 or 69 or whatever, and it was the one about housing the soldiers from
quartering a soldier,
and
what are we quartering now? Illegal
immigrants. Yeah, no shit.
Oh,
yeah,
I think
right?
they are soldiers.
Some of them, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
good fucking point.
That was a good pair. Yeah, good job. There were 3 of them. I can't remember what the other 2 were. It was the quartering of soldiers.
It was also there. I know it was huge.
Oh, I think one was banning weapons.
That's what you do when you want to control people.
Yeah.
Always.
It would be interesting to go to countries and ask those people who have recently had to give up their weapons and say, hey, what do you feel has changed?
The Canadians will tell you, and the Australians.
Yeah, they're not
bad
happy.
idea.
Well, they need to start speaking up.
Yes,
that's
do.
right. They can't because their media has been stifled and they can't do that.
Canada, especially.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder about like a Japan though, because guns aren't legal in Japan, right?
Nope.
But everyone seems to. It's still.
But how long ago was that a thing? Like I don't think I don't know that swords are illegal in Japan. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know what the.
But guns are
either.
And that's a one thing that really. That's a game changer. A gun is a game changer.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Which is why
one
it's
dude with
an
AR can defeat quite a few dudes with swords on a battlefield.
again, like there's that.
But in a building, maybe not. I don't know.
There is a
the coercive acts.
essay that's
not egregious acts, coercive acts.
Coercive.
There's an essay that's called "The Gun is Civilization," and it is a short, essay, and I think everybody should read it because it does like.
Wait, what's it called?
I think gun is civilization, or the gun is civilization.
Okay.
And basically, like in a nutshell, it's a gun is an equalizer in force.
Oh shit!
Whether you're a 90-pound woman or a 300-pound man,
yeah,
a gun will do the same thing to somebody from either side, right? So when everybody has the same ability of force,
yeah,
everybody acts as if everybody is as tough or as strong or as capable as everybody else, because they are at that point. And it's important to have that because it makes everybody act in kindness.
Yeah.
Because of that, there is an ability to end the fight with a 50-year-old woman versus an 18-year-old boy.
Well, I do think it's true. Like that idea of a well-armed society's a polite society. And then it's like, well, let's take that one step further. Think about like the Cold War and fall of the Berlin Wall and stuff. And it's like, well, the idea of mutually assured destruction really started to take over, where everyone's got nukes, and if everyone launches them, we're all fucked. Yeah,
that's true.
Right?
If our government is building nukes because the Russians are, then why should they tell citizens they can't have a firearm when
they're doing the same thing?
Exactly. It's a citizen-on-citizen mutually assured destruction.
So that idea of that, like other foreign countries won't do this because we can do it. If we have guns, they have guns.
Yep.
But then
we're trying to keep countries that we don't trust away from them, just like the government's trying to keep guns away from people they don't trust, which is their citizens.
Yep. But also it seems like we're in a time and period, though, where someone, even though there is mutually assured destruction, someone still might fire off a gun. Maybe not one of these big players, but because of how much meddling. It's also worth
noting that our government disarms its enemies.
Yeah, but
right? When we defeated Japan after World War II, they were not allowed to have a military. The same with Germany for a while. So when the government is trying to disarm its citizens, what do they consider its citizens? Its enemy?
Well, and look at the what is that new act of 2024?
Well, hang on. That's a great moment. I want to cut in here. I want to go back to the coercive acts in the American Revolution. So they were a response to the Boston Tea Party. So one was the Port Act. The next was the Administrative Act of Justice, which allowed colonists accused of a crime to be shipped to Britain to be charged and tried. Where sounds a lot
probably
like
going to find guilty.
Sounds
like
a lot
Trump
like
trials.
I was just going to say it sounds a lot like Guantanamo Bay, where anyone labeled a terrorist, including put the title domestic terrorist on them, can be shipped, tried, and held, or actually shipped and held without trial.
Yeah,
on foreign soil.
Yeah,
that should concern people.
Yeah, but that goes back to like 9/11, like that big change.
Yeah,
like we talk about like the. God, what was in the 70s, like the CIA and all that government freeze. That's not what it's called. But like, look at all the assassinations happen and taking over of or help funding rebels and countries we didn't like the leaders at the moment.
The crack pandemic in the inner cities was brought on by the CIA running cocaine into the United States to fund their guerrilla wars in Central America.
Yeah, around Contra.
Dieting right now.
Fucking go for it, dude.
Got you guys. But it's so. But also, okay. So we have this mutually assured kind of destruction thing happening, but it seems like we're in a time now, especially because of like what we were just saying, like the U.S. is fucked with all these other countries. And if someone that you take over, you can disarm, well, now they're going to listen to you. But if there's places that won't let you disarm them, like in Afghanistan, like in Iran, and you sanction them, Vietnam. But you also sanction them with money and like you're causing economic strife. And these places have to struggle. Well, the world already sucks. Why don't we fuck this mutually assured destruction and fire that gun to get some respect?
Yeah.
And that's what makes me
this is a great thought, is what if the United States of America becomes the next Afghanistan in a sense of empires will fight and die here because they'll take on the citizens of this. Like, we may go through some very difficult times for a couple hundred years, but this may become a place where other aspiring world powers come and fight and lose their battle.
Didn't even Alexander the Great try and go to Afghanistan and he got fucking destroyed?
They call it the graveyard of empires.
Yeah.
Well,
their geography allows for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do we have? We have 2 mountain ranges running north-south through this country. Actually 3, the Appalachians, the Rockies, and the Cascades.
So if you live in Kansas, start digging.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. We don't have any listeners in Kansas.
Send your corn over to the west.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, does Europe or any of those other countries, do they have tornadoes?
Not like the Midwest.
Not like Kansas.
Oh, dude,
could you
a bunch
imagine?
of fucking.
Could you imagine a tornado just ripping through and all of a sudden
Bunch of Chinese soldiers.
going, oh my God.
I guess what?
What is this place?
And then
You get sandstorms.
you got some
and
wind
desert
over
area.
here. You guys got some fucking wind.
Well, the plains. I mean, that's if you look at settlers, coming westward in the United States, like people that lived in the plains that never dealt with wind.
How do you think the Plains Indians handled that shit? Because I mean,
Adapted.
obviously, how? Fucking just
but that's
danced about
evolution.
it?
Probably you can live in more severe climates. You can start. I mean, it's just you figure out the things around you. Different types of modality. I think plains were more teepee structured, right? So you could move
nomadic.
across.
Yeah.
Much more nomadic.
you're
They
chasing-
probably
you're chasing the
not
herd.
probably. They would have known the seasons and know when it's tornado season and head north and west or whatever.
But also, you're probably following a lot of animals.
Yeah, you're chasing the herd for sure.
God, could you imagine?
But wouldn't the
could
animal?
you
Oh,
imagine?
yeah.
That's what if I could come back.
Just live
to
a life
time-
chasing a herd.
Oh my God.
if
That's like when we got back from deer hunting, or when we were out in the mountains hunting, and Nathan looked at me and was like, "I think this is how people are supposed to live." Right? Yeah. Imagine a life just chasing a herd. That's what you do.
I've heard also that like people crossing from like the plains, exploring the new America, that they were very lucky because they would see like buffalo trains that were a mile wide that would walk for like 7 days. There was like on the high ends,
It's like having steak delivered to your doorstep.
But it was like
That's fucking DoorDash.
But it was like 40 million like buffalo on the high counts in the United States. And it's like you think about like in 1492, all the Spaniards land and they start bringing disease and they kill off all the Indians. And so now the biggest predator to buffalo just all died off. And so from the early 1500s, and then you get like 1776 people coming and starting to venture over, and they're like, it's crazy how many animals are here. It's like, your Spanish buddies killed off all the fucking predators.
Imagine coming from Europe as a like colonist who's you're escaping serfdom, right? Like you've never been allowed to own anything. You can't go hunt on the king's land. And then you show up here and you ride your horse off into the woods and
It's yours.
pop out on the plains, and holy fuck, there's more meat. Meat would have been like a rare delicacy in Europe.
Jordan's
And
rabbit house.
Yeah, exactly. And then here it is just wandering across the plain in like massive amounts.
Yeah.
That'll be wild.
Absolutely crazy.
They were spoiled though. They were so lucky to land when they did.
Wow.
I think so many Indians died from the Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
And so just game exploded.
There's more and more evidence down in the Amazon rainforest that there was a massive population in the Amazon, like large, well-built, well-developed society that when the Spanish visited, smallpox just wiped it out.
Yes.
And the reason we are unaware of it is because the rainforest grew back so quickly and reclaimed the territory. And because it's so hostile to travel into, nobody's been out there to discover anything.
But they're finding stuff with like LiDAR. And stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't there an idea that people made the Amazon in a way? Like they planted tons of the plants.
It's a food forest.
Yeah. They just made it.
Big ass food garden.
Bunch of complementary plants that sort of support each other at the various levels of canopy.
Giving humans a lot of fucking credit.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories too about English guys going into the Congo and Africa.
Well, sorry, hang on.
Being eaten the same way, like that jungle. Like, what is it? Pygmies live in the Congo, and they're certain, but it's like
it's coordinated,
dude. Some of those massive
nature does coordinate things, so it's hard.
But people live off
everywhere.
of that.
People live everywhere.
Could you imagine? But it's
They're
like
fucking
so. The other thing they have in the Amazon is this stuff called terra preta, which is I think it's like black earth or whatever, but it's very clearly engineered soil because it's like composting, but it has live cultures in it, which
like
no one has
that move around and
worms that.
No, it has like the actual. I think it has like
big.
gut biome type bacteria in it, and
spitting on it.
yeah, but they haven't been able to figure out how to recreate it, and it's really expensive because if you build like a potting, fucking plant or whatever, like little, what do you call it, like a planter, and fill it with this terra preta stuff, your crops grow like wildfire, and nobody can figure out how to replicate it. But it's out in the Amazon in massive quantities, and like
that's
why
they think people may have built that rainforest. And so it makes me think about the Congo.
What would happen if you just allowed Mother Nature to do her thing for a little while?
Well, it wouldn't have the fish bones and all this shit mixed into it. Like they said, because of the composition, they can tell that it was made by people. Okay. Like it wasn't an accident where things just slowly mixed over time.
Also, but think 10,000 years ago, what was sea level? Different parts of the Amazon, they get high to low. Yeah. Would that be seawater and pushing water higher up?
I've seen birds catch fish.
Sure.
Did they live in the Amazon?
And those birds can fucking fly around and drop fish certain places.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Like there's ways in which soil makes itself happen.
How about this?
A lot of birds hanging out in their nests, fucking feeding
fishing
off the. Well, I mean, you think.
Hang on. So we got the Native Americans chasing the buffalo up north, and in the Amazon we got the birds fishing.
Well, the birds are fishing, right? And
birds are fishing.
I'll tell you how this.
These birds
soil,
be fishing.
I'm going to give you the Jordan fucking soil class 101 right now.
Yeah.
So what happens is these birds. They're out there. They're like, hey, this is a nice little spot I found. The canopy is just right. I enjoy this spot. So they take that.
Warm all year round.
They fly around, right? They eat fish and they eat berries, right? They're eating these fish and these fucking berries. And then they're like, I'm not going to fly off to take a shit. I'm just going to take a shit right here. So boom, they drop their droppings. It hits the ground.
Boom.
Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. And they shit on the floor. Some people call it earth. And then they're like, hey, I'm feeling a little tired of these berries. I'm going to go get myself a nice little fish over
fillet.
Here. So they fly over, they get their fish, and they're like, hey, I got those kids back at home. They won't stop fucking squawking. Am I right? And they fly those fish back.
All my bird people out there. Am I right?
And they're squawking and they're bird feeding and they're dropping the fish in the other bird's mouth, the little babies, and then they drop the bones. How do they get the fucking fish bones in the water or that's how. That's fucking how.
That's the Amazon in 60 seconds, dude.
Well, I could go on all night.
Yeah. Who needs to go to college?
These fucking pride flags.
I go on all night. That's how it's done. Anyway, back to whatever dumb shit you were talking about.
Yeah. That's too funny, dude.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is fucking birds can fish.
Yeah. They can. I read that book.
Well, isn't there there's some seeds that need to go through the digestive tract of a bird?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's like strip a layer off or something.
What do they call that when it
fertilize?
Germinate it. Help
germinate it. Thank you. Yeah, I was like Germans, Holocaust.
Mein Kampf.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what some things happen that way.
The seed will go in the oven of the butty.
Yeah. So what human made that bird? Is my question.
There's people that pay tons of money for a coffee bean that a cat eats and shits out.
I'm sorry.
Have you never heard of this?
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh, this comes from is it Sumatra or?
Is it a serval cat? Is it serval?
It's not a cat. It's something.
I thought it was a cat
very
family.
Similar. Yeah. They're like
it's
a close cousin.
Serval.
Some sort of a feline.
But they shit it out. It looks like
George Bush Jr. It's a feline.
It looks like a payday when they shit it out because it's all the beans are like stuck in their shit.
Grab the coffee pot. It's nutty.
It's considered a delicacy, Jordan.
Whatever sick fuck goes.
It's like, hey, I got you guys some coffee beans.
Yeah. What happened was there was a guy and he was like,
my fucking serval got out and ate my beans.
I'm going to prank my buddy so bad. And his buddy goes, this ain't half bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good, dude.
I'll drink more of it.
Yeah. You got some more of that?
So you're telling me a cat dog pooped that out? That is clean.
Yeah.
The mountains of Colombia.
You can drink your own pee.
Yeah.
It's sterile.
I've seen Bear Girls do it all the time. We had some of that cat shit coffee at work the other day.
Oh, shit, dude. No.
I didn't drink any of it.
What is it? What does it taste like? What do you think?
I don't know.
It tastes like just like normal ass coffee.
It smelled like normal coffee.
Oh, these fucking
Because
people,
they
dude.
pick it out of
Yeah.
Imagine that. What do you do for a living? I pick coffee beans out of cat shit.
Yeah.
Well, first I feed the cat.
Yeah, there's a huge.
And then I follow it around with a bucket.
No, there's a huge litter box.
Then you got to pick sand out of it too. Fuck that.
I have
terrible.
duck hunting waders.
Oh, there you go.
Just walk through it.
That's hilarious.
That's weird though. That's a rich people thing.
Oh yeah.
That's like an obscure.
Caviar.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Look at people that pay for art. You know,
Oh yeah.
all of that stuff is. But that's
there's some art that's absolutely amazing.
yes,
my eyes.
given yes. There's amazing artists out there.
That's worth money. And then there's some art that's absolute dog shit.
You don't talk about Hunter Biden like that.
Yeah, but it's wild. It's like how the fuck is this a thing? People pay for it.
It is. I've heard it's a money laundering scheme for the rich for tax write-offs,
Cool.
like high-end art. And now you're seeing all these people throw Campbell's soup on like the Mona Lisa, climate activists or Gaza activists. But yeah, I've heard it's a way for
the pre-soup era.
Dude, do you think there existed way more fine art before canned food happened?
Fuck, dude. There's another parallel to entering a dark age is people are knocking down statues and defacing paintings.
Oh
Yeah. Remember 2020 when like every town that had a statue in the South, it's like
Fucking rip it down.
dude, they're like CNN live here as another statue topples. You're like, oh my god, they're taking down
everything, cutting their heads off,
Yeah.
spray painting them.
Yeah, I was wondering if the Washington
Meanwhile, Lenin stands strong there in
Seattle,
Yeah.
Fremont. Yeah.
yeah, but that's their
God.
leader, that's their guru. It is weird. I mean, I don't know. I think about socialism all the time, and like,
Fuck you.
the idea
I know
of
you
it.
do, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, this idea, what's the best way to be ruled? How do what is
What is the best way with all the thinking you've done about it? What do you come up with? What seems to be in your mind? Because like I said,
what I
earlier-
know? Okay, so this is what I think. The best way to live life is for it to represent nature. Because I think evolution, I say it all the time, I think it's a real factor. And evolution is not pretty. You want freedom, there's going to be death. Because I think freedom represents reality, evolution, natural world where things happen. And I think the more a society can represent that, it's going to allow growth. There's going to be conflict, but conflict gets mitigated. Pressures are always going to happen. But in my same heart, I'm still like, well, I think love and compassion is a human trait. And that's where you get socialistic ideas of like, people, I love you, you love me. I don't want you to be poor. I want you to have money.
Loves me, dude.
But giving things stifles evolution. Providing food to a bunch of dying elk is not going to kill that bloodline. So now stronger elk prevail and they take over that territory, or elk just don't exist there, and now sheep maybe exist there.
Do you think like a small level, like small scale collectivism, where again, for freedom to work, and you're right, if it were true freedom, which would mean just self-rule, where every single individual was just kind of on their own,
Yeah.
would lead to like a poorer quality of life and a short lifespan. So in order to maintain those freedoms, I would think the best way to rule would be small scale collectivism, where you have it's literally tribal living, small scale groups of people living together and sort of working together, because again, everybody has skin in the game.
Yes.
And when it gets too big to where now the majority do not have skin in the game, that's when it gets all corrupted.
Yes.
So like a small scale tribe or small city functioning autonomously, everybody's going to have a major stake in the success of that community.
Yes.
And it sort of forces people to cohere a little bit for the sake of maintaining the freedom of that group.
Yes. I honestly, in my heart, think we are in a true awakening. Like something's different's happening. There's been ways people have been ruled all throughout history, but we have not had people have the ability to communicate and talk and have representation. And what we're seeing, like this, who's telling the truth? Before, it used to be a lot easier to be like, I mean, Galileo, right? He was heresy against the state because he said like the Earth revolves around the sun.
Yeah.
Like
They locked him in the tower and executed him.
But
for it.
it's about truths, and because only he could say it to a few people, the truth didn't get out there until a long time. Now we have a way for truths to be disseminated instantly upon people. So I think we're in a huge changing, but I think old power never wants to let go of power. And I think that's where all of this is happening.
And they slowly add a little more. So it's like this very gradual accumulation of power until the point we're here and we go, holy fuck.
And all that power just is taking away freedom after freedom after freedom. Right?
But,
I mean, are they gaining any power or anything without taking away our rights or freedoms? Or
No,
is
all,
everything...
Yeah, they're gaining power by
us?
controlling.
Yeah, because power comes from controlling.
Yeah, it's
people.
more power. It's more control.
And that's the problem, right? And people are just... They're being put and fed into being so scared that's what happens is they're just pushing people to be more and more scared, which gives them more and more willingness to give up power.
But I think also when you start, like you said, it's
fucking
don't mind me over here.
Opens over there rolling around.
Just roller derby over here in the corner.
Ecstasy's kicking in, dude.
Yeah, dude, he's getting all antsy in his pantsy.
Actually, can we take a quick pee break? Because I got to pee now.
Yeah,
we're at minute 6. We're doing much better, fans.
What was she saying?
So the Akashic Record is a 2-dimensional information field that you can't experience with any of your 5 senses because your 5 senses are 3rd dimension. And this also correlates with the Big Bang Theory. So all information, energy, and matter that ever is, was, or will be was once part of the singularity, right? Or you could say it was once part of God. And then there was an expanding of the Big Bang or of like the God consciousness. And with that, you can either call it the information field, which is the scientific term, or you can call it the Akashic Record, which is the woo-woo term. Either way, it's a 2-dimensional field encoded with holographic type information. This is like holographic universe theory. And so the reason quantum physics and Schrodinger's cat works is your observation of these energy waves enact upon the holographic field, just like a light would in the 3rd dimension,
observer
and creates reality. So reality is created by the observer. Consciousness is what creates reality, as opposed to like the Western medicine theory that consciousness is a construct of the physical brain.
I have a question. I'm raising my hand.
Go ahead.
So,
welcome to my science lesson.
Yeah.
What was this podcast about?
Birds.
Birds.
So the medieval knights would think, I live in 2 so you said we only have 2. What are our 2 dimensions?
No, we live in the 3rd dimension.
Yeah, but you said
the Akashic field is a
what's the 1st dimension? What's the 2nd? What's the 3rd? Like
height, width,
motion.
and depth.
Okay, but
I'm sorry?
Isn't
Height,
time a
width, and
dimension?
depth.
Yeah, so
In
it's
this
like
one, they don't
playing
consider
Mario,
no because
Super
all
Mario.
points in the holographic.
So we
universe
live in
theory,
3D, like up, down, left, right,
Yes.
and side or what would be it, forward, back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we live in 3D field. So why did they only exist in 2 dimensions? What are their dimensions?
Okay, so you have to understand
Is it
how
forward, back,
no,
left, right,
it's-
or up,
it's
down?
a square. However you want to think of it, up, down, left, right, or height and width, whatever. It's a 2-dimensional field, and the way a hologram works, like so when you see think like Star Wars, where R2-D2 projects a hologram of Princess Leia out.
Yeah.
The in order to record a hologram, you have to bounce a laser off the object you're trying to record, and a second laser off of what they call a reference plane, like a mirror.
Yeah.
And where the two then hit each other, they create what are called interference pattern, because you have different waves of different magnitude and strength hitting each other. So
creating an image.
Think 2 rocks dropped into a still pond. You're going to have 2 sets of concentric rings, and eventually they collide. And then that collision where they get all choppy, that's the interference pattern. And if you shine light through an interference pattern, what you get on the wall is basically a barcode, which is why barcodes are used to encode information. So that barcode is the 2-dimensional representation of the 3 dimensions of those waves traveling across the pond. And so you can encode that information on a flat surface, right? A barcode is 2-dimensional.
An image can have
and
sound.
then when you shine the light through that interference pattern, rather than getting the shadows of the barcode, what you end up with is a holographic 3-dimensional hologram.
Yeah.
And that's holographic universe theory. I'm probably butchering some parts of it, like not getting the science exactly right, but that's the gist of it.
But then isn't it weird then? So then if consciousness is tapped into this, because if everything's kind of connected.
So what if consciousness in this case, just like the hologram needs a light to be shown through the information field, consciousness then is that energy shining through the Akashic record that creates reality.
Well, you have a satellite dish to 2 dimensions. If you live in a 3-dimensional world, then what is consciousness? Consciousness is being able to tap in this to create or to feel, right? So that means maybe you live in a 3D, but you have the hardware to receive the signal, or you think in a 2D way.
Okay, so
I don't understand how the birds get the fish up in the tree.
The berries. They get sick of eating them, so they want fish, dude.
Again, I think you guys are forgetting egg theory.
Is that right after salamander theory?
The egg came before the chicken?
You cook a bird out of its nest. Those birds are hardcore over there. You kick a bird out of its nest, guess what? Its skeleton's laying in the dirt.
Mm.
You know what that kind of looks like?
A fish.
A fucking fish. Thank you.
Do you hang
Good
on,
night, everybody.
Mine's blown.
I got a bird question.
Anything.
So
I'm very versed in bird law.
Yeah. Bird law. You're past bird theory. You're bird law. Yeah. Birds that eat, like when we go duck hunting, a lot of people don't like ducks because they eat slugs, they'll eat meat and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But certain birds only eat more grain-based things. Mm-hmm. Like grouse, I don't think they really eat meat stuff, do they? They seeds and shit like that.
Fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, that's why they taste really good. Mm-hmm. I want to eat an eagle or a hawk, but I don't think I will appreciate the taste. I think it'd be more duck taste where I want grouse taste.
But the other one is it sandhill crane?
Those the ribeye of the sky.
Those things are eating fish and all that stuff, but those look...
They're all dark meat, though. I mean, all geese are, aren't they?
Yeah.
We got a goose one time. What's that movie? He's like, a Christmas goose.
Hang on. We went from medieval and dogma
2D
to spirituality and metaphysics. And now we're talking about upland game birds.
Sometimes you just have to think about, like, I see that and I wonder what it tastes like.
And I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And that is...
You ever been to the Smart Tree?
Yeah. You go. See those beans right there? Now let's let that cat eat them.
The serval?
Uh-huh.
See what it tastes like?
Serval.
I think that's what it is.
You know, that's what that guy was doing.
No, there's certain birds I want to eat. I really want to eat a bald eagle for some reason. But I don't think it'll taste good.
Quite the patriot.
Yeah.
Over here.
It would taste awful.
I think it'd be good.
Eagles are scavengers. When they can't find like live animals, they'll also eat carrion, right?
You know, I think the federal government should grant a one-time pass for Steve Rinella to like go do an episode of Meat Eater where he gets one and shows the cooking of it. I mean, that's half of his show is preparing.
You could do that in any country. Like what?
Yeah,
there's so
he goes to China, Russia.
Yeah, dude.
And he did an interview with Putin. It was nuts.
Yeah. Wrote a book.
Yeah. But that would be cool. I wonder what it tastes like. Because the closest I ever got was that movie Almost Heroes with Chris Farley and the late great Matthew Perry.
I think we just need to take a trip to Cambodia because I feel like anything you want to eat, they can probably get that for you.
Yeah.
Do you think human? You ever thought about what it'd be like to eat a person?
I know a guy in Bangkok.
We all know a guy in Bangkok, dude.
Sweeter than you think.
Yeah. Shut up, dude.
Yeah. Are they eating grass-fed beef or fish heads and rice?
We used to have this property in Lopez Island. My great aunt and my great uncle had it. They're old timers. Like uncle was in World War II in the Navy in the Pacific. Maybe that's where I got appreciation for it. But they had a piece of property out in the islands, and there was a murder at the islands. Like, it was old time farming, and it was I think kind of a psycho that just lived out there and murdered a bunch of people.
Wow.
And he burned the bodies, and everyone in the neighborhoods said, I smelt something that was so putrid. Like, I've never smelt a smell of barbecue that was hideous. Oh. And they said what they thought it was them burning those bodies and them smelling it.
I have an
and I
opposite
wonder
story,
if that's like a
that,
human reaction, not to eat people.
No, we did a job at one of the hospitals here, and we were walking out, and we were like, oh, fuck, somebody in the neighborhood's barbecuing. That smells good.
Oh,
and
no.
so we turned around, the smokestack to the crematorium was just billowing. It's like, dang it.
Yeah, let's go eat.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
That's a morbid thought.
That's heavy. That's fucking heavy, dude.
I brought a ham sandwich.
Yeah. Oh.
How desperate would you have to be to eat a person? I mean, there's that movie about
those
soccer
plane
players.
crash in the Himalaya or the Andes.
That movie. There's a new one.
There's another one. Oh. Did they eat people?
Yeah, they eat each other. Yeah.
They didn't kill each other.
Well,
people who died in the
wreck. Yeah. But that was the same with
volunteers. He's like, if I die, you guys can eat me. Like, to try and ease, because he's looking around and he's seeing everybody's like turmoil with it, and he's like, yeah,
I want you to eat me.
Yeah.
Start with my dick so I have dignity in the afterlife.
Yeah. Well, don't do that because you're going to choke on it. Come on, dog.
Everyone's like, don't eat it. Don't eat it. Yeah. It's like giving your dog cooked bones. Yeah, that is the original Donner Party. But it is like, I mean, we all talk about like the world's falling apart.
The Donner Party would have been the original Donner Party, just to clarify.
Oh, you don't think people have been eating before that?
Well, not the Alive crew.
Yeah.
They were in the 1970s.
Yeah. The soccer player. Yeah, but they're modern. They're the football Donner Party.
There we go.
Yeah. But to eat someone, like, how bad would it have to be?
Pretty awful.
I mean, think about it. That means there's no animals.
Yeah.
That means vegetation sucks, and there's no stores to raid anymore.
Yeah.
So now I'm down to eating people?
Yeah, at least 2 days.
Would you shoot your...
bare minimum, at least 2 days.
Yeah.
No, I think
that's a huge basting brush. Oh, yeah.
The broom handle you got on? Yeah.
The traffic lights are still working, Jordan. No. Please stop.
Shit.
I don't know that I could.
Yeah, that seems like a fucked up thing.
Although I've heard of a guy who he had something, he had to get his leg amputated and went through all the rigmarole to get his leg back. And they were like, you can't have your leg. And he was like, the fuck I can't. And they were like, okay, well, here's like, and he looked into it and he was like, did all this paperwork to keep his leg.
Yeah.
They cut it off. Boom. Here you go. And he sat down with his buddies. And he goes, all right.
Eat my leg.
Fuck.
Do you guys want to try it?
Nope.
I'm going to one-up you.
And I think they grilled it up and they
ate it. Ugh. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hibachi?
But it was like, here's the deal. Like, this is the, if you're interested in trying it, this is the only, like, guilt-free way.
Is this a urban legend, or is this like reported in media?
I think it's an urban legend.
Okay.
I got one better. There was a Japanese guy. You can look this up.
It's real though.
Yes.
Oh, this one's real. You can look this up. There's a Japanese guy.
That's how all urban legends start.
Dude, he even got a lawyer to sign, and like they wrote this doctrine thing, and they signed it. They chopped off the guy. They had doctors do it, or I don't know, someone do it, but legally he couldn't be charged. But they chopped off his penis, and this chef prepared it in multiple different ways, and he ate it.
Yeah. So the guy had to go drive all the way or fly out to California, and they performed it.
A lot of pride flags, I heard, but that's crazy.
Jesuits,
but isn't that freedom though? In a weird way, it's like we don't want. If that guy's 18 and older,
but it's also
like
feeding mental illness.
Yeah.
Like that's a mentally ill thing to do.
But once again, evolution. if freedom can really occur, then the worst things are going to occur.
As long as he's not hurting
himself,
someone
else.
I guess he's not reproducing.
Yeah, exactly. Or what?
If he does, it's weird.
What if he's like, I need to save all my sperm?
Oh boy,
they didn't chop his balls off. I don't think.
No, they just took his delivery method.
Yeah.
You know, now he's got to have
the runway.
a fucking baster.
We got short landing.
Turkey baster. He's like, come on, baby. He's like, let's stop by the pharmacy.
But that is freedom, though. You're allowing someone to do whatever they want. But like you said, at what point are you feeding mental illness? But also, it's like, well, what if you started encouraging it? Like, is part of what we're seeing kind of today also like the encouragement of certain like uniquenesses? Like, I think the gay community is 5%. It's always been kind of 5%, but it's jumped. Exponentially.
So trans is a mental illness. Gay, I think gay is pretty normal.
Yes.
And trans is a mental illness.
Tell me more, Tobin.
No,
I went through an experimental period in middle school where I was duct taping my wiener back. Yeah. Here to tell you guys.
Stand in front of the mirror and say,
"You had to."
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Yeah. He goes, my name is Tobin.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
I think
go ahead, Mike.
We took a right turn on chopping the penis off, but that kind of goes back to freedom, though.
Some Buffalo Bill shit.
I mean,
The thing is like, go ahead, but exactly what you're saying. Like when you start to, you pull your head away from this mic, and at any point in time,
this is much better, Jordan.
Yeah. When you start pushing it or tricking people into thinking that is what they are when they're searching for whatever it is.
But I think they're searching, like we're saying earlier.
Yeah,
like
a child is searching for what they enjoy. Do I like coloring books or do I like playing soccer?
But it's easier.
Oh, you're a fucking girl.
But it's easier with a small community because you have so much attachment to those around you. Your searching is shortly lived. Everyone has to have a searching period for identity. But when you have good people around you, you find that path faster. So when you have a population of 350 million, how do you give that small community? Like if we had a person in this gym chopping their dick off and trying to eat it with fucking Gordon Ramsay, we'd fucking know about it pretty quick and probably try and stop it. No. But when you have a culture that big and so far removed and people don't maybe have the strongest connections or a sense of purpose. That's why I always say, like, the best way to be governed, but I also say, I feel I say it a lot, it's like, how do we bring this mentality to the United States? Yeah. Like, how do you give purpose? How do you give fulfillment? How do you make people thrive
Take away
off
handouts.
of growth?
But the thing is like, not everybody wants that. Not everybody wants that, and some people want to do nothing, and other people want to give them everything. So there's some people, and then they go, I want to give them everything, but I don't have the resources, so everybody needs to give them everything.
That same everything is the same. It comes from the same place of that security. I'll give up liberties for securities because I want you to be secure.
They're unwilling to do it themselves. They want everybody else
to
do it.
They want you to be, but they're not going to do something to make you.
No, they do. They make laws that make us have to
if you don't pay your taxes, men with guns come to your house.
But that's that idea of a posse, though. Like, if your house catches on fire, I want it to be put out. So I would call a bunch of people and rally.
Do whatever I could to help, and that's a small community.
But there's a difference between want and
guess what? How many houses burnt down today?
Or do. Yeah.
Well, how many houses burnt down in the U.S. today, and what did we do to fucking help? Not a goddamn thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it takes a small community to really care. Because the fact of the matter is like things happen on the other side of the state, horrible, horrible tragedies. That if something happened here, I know that people would rally around me here, but I don't expect somebody from I don't even expect somebody from another county, a town. People in this town
outside
the gym to rally around me, right? There is a certain level that you have to be a part of a group to have that happen. Yeah. And unless you're willing to get out and seek the group, then you're not going to get it. Yeah. But those are also the people that, and I think everybody wants that. But what I'm saying is there's people who they don't give a shit. They're willing to go be homeless. And then there's other people who are like, well, we need to help those people. And you go, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, that means that you need to pay more taxes so we can take your money and do something. And you go, whoa. Yeah. But I don't want them to, I want them to hit rock bottom because I care.
Yeah.
I don't want to make them live in this purgatory that you're fucking making them live in because they're getting by just enough to be able to, it's like, I'd rather them hit all the way rock bottom because there's some of them. So I don't want to say happy. I don't want to get into that. But I think there's groups.
They're not happy. No one wants to live in a car.
No, but
or a tent.
What?
Even if it is nice, and I want it for hunting.
They're miserable, right?
Yeah.
They're miserable,
yeah.
But there's some people that allow that to stay that way because you can't run them off. You can't do this. You can't do that. Then they're just going to be content because some people are just amazing at being content with what their situation is.
Well, it's just like Tobin said, like take away the government handout programs, and it's go back to my idea of pure evolution and nature. But those, it's like if you took out those handout programs and a bunch of them died, though, that kind of would start to take care of the problem.
Yes, it would.
But I'm not saying that's the best way. I'm saying if that was what it was and they didn't have benefits, a lot more homeless people. How much Narcan's been administered that if it wasn't administered,
those people would not be a part of the journey in the system.
Who's making Narcan?
And they would not be living in that squalor that they are now. And they eventually OD anyway. Fuck. I forgot what I was going to say.
I think that there's a certain level to communities, and like I'm tired of having people tell me what.
Go ahead.
Almost spit on Greg's mic, dude. Don't do that. He was in mid-thought. You're like, hang on.
Hang on a minute. Yeah, go ahead, Jordan. I'm sorry.
I lost it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's easily fumbled.
Oh.
I'm not a running back with these.
What I was going to say
is these words.
What taxes are compulsory. Like they're forcing you to support these programs. Where again, if you went back to a totally free system, then you would be able to decide. You could say, you know what? It's almost Thanksgiving. I want to fill up a box of canned food and drop it off at the food bank.
Hang on, let me ask this.
Keep going.
Yeah, you're nailing it, but I want to ask you something about
I'm trying to do my mic impression.
But that depends on that depends on sort of your level of buy-in into your community, and then you're going to want to know who the people are who are getting that food and what they're doing. And if you understand that they're trying to get back on their feet,
and what can I do to make them
exactly?
Yeah. And guess what? That's virtuous. That's true virtue.
That's true virtue. As opposed to like, I donate to this organization that supposedly helps people.
Or I don't, and they fucking take my money anyway.
Yeah. But I feel like they've done a much better job at just putting taxes in the system. Like sorry, America, I mail in vote because I'm lazy. Maybe
you don't have a choice in Washington State, buddy.
Oh, I can only mail in vote?
No, there's
drop boxes, but it's still.
I guess there's no in-person place. There's like one in Everett.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think.
Do we go? Do we do a live from the field like Geraldo?
We should.
Yeah.
Just hammered drunk in line to vote.
Greg's like, where'd my mics go? We're voting. Shut up.
Yeah.
No,
just
but
out there with a generator.
But like I just got to vote for a fire levy, and like I vote for school things, fire levies.
You just approve it all?
Nah, it depends on what it is. But certain, all the gas tax or the 405 tax, like all these taxes get put into the things we buy. It's not in what we're like, hey, I'm voting on this tax. It seems like a lot more tax gets enacted in the state through the things you
put
need.
Put it on gas, put it on sugar beverages, put it on,
Yes, all our taxes. And so it's like you look at what you're paying for, so much of that gets taxed.
Yeah.
And then like part of your taxes just all of a sudden become your state tax with like, oh, we need to do new road improvements, like a national or like a state funded.
Just get worse.
Yeah, but it's a state funded thing where instead of like for your local county, it's just we're just enacting this new tax on your property tax, and that's where your property taxes fluctuate so much. And you're like, wait, what's happening? And the higher your property tax goes up, it means there's development.
There is a bill in the Washington
state.
State legislature right now that will allow them to raise your property tax by 3% every year.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
Dude, when I first bought my house, my property tax and my mortgage was $2,000. 5 years later, it was $2,500, and it's like, wow, that's a lot.
You know how much tea I'm
to
about
go.
to throw into Lake Stevens, dude?
Yeah.
All of it. I'm throwing all.
No,
my
we're
tea
getting
into
that
Lake
cat
Stevens.
shit coffee, dude. We're going to Hagen's, buddy. Get the good stuff.
Just find the supply ship that brings it over from Sumatra and sink it.
Yeah.
There's a Pet Pros in town. Maybe they have a serval. We'll feed them Folgers.
Dude, hang on, this is Lake Stevens. We'll just get a raccoon.
Dude, what if it's amazing? What if?
Oh, shit.
Start like being able to see. You get superpowers from it.
In the dark?
Yeah.
Like a raccoon?
Yeah.
I have this weird attraction to trash.
I have to
but
wash my
night
hands all the
vision
time.
is crazy good.
Yeah. You get possum all of a sudden. You just start freezing in the middle of when somebody shines a light on you.
Oh, fuck. Well, this one fucking devolved.
No. Back to Merlin and the dark times.
Gandalf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. What's the difference between then and now?
Yeah, dude. Why don't you fulfill the answer to the question we've all been looking for?
Yeah. Was it like 600 years or something?
It's mostly birds.
I also know. Hey, I'll tie something.
What's
in
the
that
deal with the
U-boat.
bird masks? That was way after the dark times, right?
That shit was whack.
What, the
Oh,
bird
yeah.
mass?
Yeah, you remember that? Like when they go through when they thought there was a pandemic, so they had these big long.
Oh, that was
beaks.
bubonic plague.
Yeah.
They put crystals in the eyes too because they thought it warded off the evil
No,
spirits.
you're talking more recently, like the 1990s, right?
No.
Oh, never mind.
No, the
bird
bubonic
masks. You mean
Bird what?
bird masks
Takes-
during?
Oh, the Black Plague mask. They
Yeah,
believed
Black
that it
Plague.
kept
Yeah.
it kept the germs further away from their nose.
Back to masks. No way, Joe.
Interesting.
Look at this
linking
guy.
it all together, huh? Fucking
shit.
bird masks, dude. Now I could tell you a little bit about bird masks, but I don't think you guys will respect my opinion. They did crystals in there too.
Yeah, they would put crystals in the eyes and stuff, and they'd look through the prism because they thought it warded off. I mean, they were bleeding people too at the time, thinking it
Putting
helped
leeches on them to cure
But
disease.
I mean, don't
But
crystals? Don't
maggots and
crystals hold-
leeches on gangrene turned out to be a fucking
That's true.
innovative thing.
Don't crystals hold memories?
Yes.
Yeah, but bubonic plague beats crystals. You need some fucking serious shit to beat that. It's popping up though in these homeless camps.
The bubonic plague is?
Yes.
Shut the fuck up.
Talk to me.
Talk to me, Goose.
Those eyes, I can't say no. Yeah. So in these squalor camps, and I think the first two.
Because they're living in filth?
Yeah, and the first to report it on it was Skid Row in California. Their homeless population there.
So I had heard they have typhus, which is a precursor
Yeah.
to the plague. Have
Yeah.
they actually now have bubonic plague?
They found yeah, and this was years ago.
Oh,
but
shit.
they just found it up. I think in Portland is where
Go
they,
figure.
I mean, what?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Not Portland?
It was actually at a strip club that you could get steak and eggs. It wasn't a homeless camp.
Yeah, keep the Acropolis out of your mouth.
Those Greeks.
We've got memberships. We've got executive level memberships there.
VIP.
Go.
Yeah. Speaking of our next sponsor.
I wouldn't talk into that microphone. You know what I mean? It needs to be wiped down.
Oh my God.
Get that pole cleaning, girl. Yeah, but they're finding bad things. But also, I think about. So you want to talk about the Dark Ages, and a big thing in the Dark Ages was the stopping of cathedral building. And during the Dark Ages, we went from a global temperature that was warm to it got very cold. And crop productions, everything really went in the fucking shitter. And you can see the stop of growth of a civilization due to the environment around it. I find it's interesting that we're going through a time now where climate change is happening. I mean, the climate's been changing
People are
forever.
panicking as opposed to looking
Yeah.
at the data and saying, oh, actually, we may be entering a period of abundance.
Of warming.
Yeah.
But I do think, but you have to think if so much of your cities are built up on coastal areas and you want to say that we can all stop this by fucking driving Priuses, it's like, no,
Bullshit.
man.
Nope,
Sea
somebody's-
levels are going to change. Florida will be different. All coastal New York
Sea
will
levels
be
do
different.
change.
That's history.
fact.
This is geography. So it's like, but to weaponize it and use it as this is information, once again,
Because
to
of
go to the
communication
blanket.
is so fucking readily available now.
But
So it's that much
Yeah.
easier on one side to communicate for us to be
independent and be able to make our votes and all that shit that you're talking about, but it's also easier to be manipulated. And they're using that in a fucking heroic fashion to manipulate the masses into thinking all this shit is happening, that it shouldn't happen, and we need to try and stop it. And we're lining the pockets of the upper crust of society with our fears.
I think pollution is bad. I think you can look at cases throughout the
look at that river where they're pulling plastic out of. Nobody looks at that and goes, "Oh, this is great." But also, guess what? Go to fucking the potholes and start cleaning it up.
Yeah.
That's what we could do. You know,
you can do that, but you can
fucking littering and just like, hey, those are ways in which like. Obviously, it's not greenhouse gases. It's this and that and all these other things. But it's also everybody's drinking out of a fucking plastic water bottle. Yeah. And that plastic water bottle is just every motherfucker is getting another one.
Yeah.
And you know how much like greenhouse gases it takes to pollute that? Some guy said he could drive from one side of Australia to the other with, you know, the fucking whatever amount of
the hydrocarbons or whatever the
synthetic materials are being created constantly. Like, quit buying bullshit.
Yeah.
Start buying leather boots.
Yeah.
Start buying fucking real fucking things. Yeah. Quit buying all this plastic, all this fucking horse shit. Drink your beer from fucking glass.
Like a man.
Like a goddamn man. You know, there's a lot of things we could do on an individual level to like make those things small little adjustments.
Make your footprint smaller.
But at the same time,
you can have a real conversation about what's happening.
It takes a lot of fucking money to do that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Is there a reason why it's more expensive?
But
why is it more expensive than fucking
petroleums are easily manipulated. That's why so much petroleum
mass production.
Why is a fucking Celsius fucking energy drink cheaper than water?
Marketing, politics.
Oh, subsidies for soda. If it has sugar.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's this all natural fucking thing, and they're saying like, oh, there's fucking like some sort of a
then they're getting a subsidy.
Chemical in it that like,
or just the fact that people are willing to pay for bottled water.
Cyanide and
all that shit. And it's like, again, fucking little TikTok videos. I'm fucking, or not TikTok, but Instagram videos. I'm watching too much of it. Dude, I think I reached my fuck.
He's an Instagram conspiracy theorist, guys.
But there's a level of short circuit, dude. I just short circuited.
We've all been there.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
But I think you're describing more dogmatic belief, which back to the theme of the show, which is
exactly that's what I was trying to go.
Exactly where he was going with that.
Fucking bird law, dude.
Bird law. Fucking, you remind me of Charlie on all that. Yeah, that's where I was going with it. Yeah, bird law. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So. Gosh darn it.
No, I think we are in we're in a very weird time. And every person that's ever existed, they've said this exact same thing. I think that's why this is fun doing this, and maybe we can do it better than anyone's ever done it in the past, because we have that much history of people in the past that through the Akashic records we're tapping into on our 2D receiver, saying this is fucked up. This is
at the very least we'll provide you guys some commentary on the collapse of the United States.
Yeah, we'll be here
play by play.
The whole thing. I wish that we had less technology.
Yeah.
I really do. Like it goes back to the sharp knives and fucking sticks thing. Like there's a happy fucking medium.
Goes back to wanting to live a life chasing a herd of buffaloes with a bow and arrow.
There's something special about the 1900s, right? That like we go, oh, the coolest, gnarliest technology you had was like, look at these oil lamps that are like they self-feed. Like that was a thing. You know what I mean? Like when things were just like at the cusp of that and everything was very like
tangible,
yeah. And we were still living, and we were, I don't want to say prospering, but it was a different time. There was things that could wipe you out, and you had to live like you meant to live.
Yeah.
Well, you had more connection.
Now when all you have to do is
think coming west, or the fur trappers or whatever, like headed out into the wilderness.
Those motherfuckers woke up with a purpose every day.
Yes.
And we do not have that.
Yeah.
We have this like, oh, somebody's taking care of me. Everything's easy. I'm going to roll over and look at my fucking phone for 2 hours because I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And that people are wasting the amount of time wasted today, I guarantee you, is way more.
Yeah, we're back to stifling innovation. Provide people with mindless entertainment, and you stifle their creative and innovative abilities.
Boredom creates. Boredom is a great thing.
Boredom is the precursor to innovation and creativity.
Boredom is creativity because boredom sucks. So you're like, I'm gonna think of something. That's why imaginary friends are like playing with your toys. Do you remember as a kid when like the first time you're like, I'm all by myself and I have my toys, and
got
my parents are like,
and this is the best day ever.
Your parents are like, we have to pass 4 hours, and you're like, well, I'm just going to make this work and create little storylines. I think motivation is boredom, and that's
I guess I need to be fucking bored more, because I find myself looking at this
just
goddamn
staring at the phone,
and I'm sucked in,
and that makes you boring. You need to be bored, not boring.
That's a solid point, Mike.
All right. Well, sorry, Podcast America, for being boring. I'll work on it. I'm trying hard to not stare at my phone and
fucking.
Fucking do my thing.
But that's life, though. Like, that's why I say, like, a government should represent the environment where it's like everything is tough, and that is a way your life should be. I think that why we all have attractions to place like this and bettering ourselves is we find that when things are tough and we put ourselves in them, we become better at something, and that gives you a level of fulfillment.
You know what we should do?
What?
We should go camping.
Well, it's called hunting.
No.
Oh.
No clothes.
With the summer.
Is this Greek style?
Look,
I'm going to 300 you into this fucking lake.
Naked and afraid with the Neanderthals. No.
There's going to be way more afraid than
we didn't sell a single spot.
No, we still have all these openings. Dude, could you imagine our casting couch for that? That would be awesome.
Oh man. No, I think if we did like a just like a camping trip where it was like, hey, let's bring 5 things.
Hang on, there's one chick from Spokane who'd buy a spot.
Shit, dude. I listen to you guys every day.
No, but if we went like and did a camping trip where it was like, okay, we're going 3 days, and we're gonna have.
Is this Boy Scout, like when you become a Boy Scout master, you get a one egg, one raw egg, a match,
a
compass,
something like that,
yeah.
And we just go out and figure it out for fucking
3 days.
3 days. And just go, okay, this is it.
6 of us died.
We're not, we're not going to die, but something like that would be fun.
Final episode.
You know what I mean? Like, that would be a lot of fun to go and just like,
because
the amount of thinking that you would end up doing, like, without phones, without anything, you just leave all this shit behind.
Fuck that. Just take minimal stuff, and like where we went elk hunting up at that pass.
I keep
like, dude, go.
That place
it's magical. That's why I took you there. Yeah. I wanted to show you my 2 honey holes. One wasn't full of honey, and the other was.
Yeah, the other one was full of horned honey. Yeah, dude. Thick antlered honey.
Artesian horned honey. Yeah.
But
at least if the government breaks down and we go balkanized, we can shoot those bulls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's gonna be hard getting there.
It's true.
It's hard getting there now.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like
hunting's gonna suck if the apocalypse happens.
Yeah,
because everyone's
pretty
trying
thin.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to try human.
Well,
yeah.
There's an abundance.
There'll be plenty
Stock up on seasoning.
Back to your last podcast, the old 1022. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? 2 of the guns you need. 1022, a 12 gauge.
Pump shotgun.
And then whatever.
I texted Jordan this week. I was like, you know what, man? I was listening to our episode, and I thought, with all of the tactical cool guys out there on YouTube and whatnot, I'm glad that when he and I decide to nerd out on guns, it's like, you need a 1022 and a pump shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you're going to get by.
Dude, it was fun listening to it because it's like, I haven't gotten to just listen. I always listen and it's like, I'm there, but it's like, I got to be just an observer, and it was such a good one, like listening about guns and just hunting stuff, because this is what we talk about. And it's like, I'm removed from the situation. So I just got to hear, like, what do you guys think are I don't know, it just went down a shooting rabbit hole. And it was good. Cartridges, it makes me think, it's like, yeah, my cabinet's full. I have my 10-22. I got my shotgun. I got my hunting. I got my AR and my pistol. It's like, I kind of have my cabinet complete. I like what I have. Yeah. But it was a fun one to think, too, like, because you talk about different stuff. And I saw Dan today, and we're talking about that. Is it staccato? They make like a 1911 double stack, and it's $2,000. But I love 1911s. So it was like, it got me thinking about that gun again, and I'm looking it up. So it was fun to be like a passenger and not hear my own voice and just kind of go on the gun ride. And yeah, it was fun.
No, it would be cool to get one of those, dude. Those are those are rad. But then when it comes down to like practical use, I mean, we're all running 9mm Glocks, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that's the most practical for us. But I do enjoy the thought of getting one of those fancy dancy staccatos
and it makes me wonder too, like with our gun laws, how we have restricted magazines. If you can buy one and it comes with like a block, or if you can even get one, do they make restricted ones for our states?
I'm sure they
probably
do. Washington, California, Oregon, I think are all the same. So I think
there's a block.
All the big manufacturers make some.
It's just going to make it that much easier when China lands.
Yeah.
Is it only Washington, Oregon, and California that have that law?
You just have to get out and practice your reloads, Mike Kozak.
Mm-hmm. But get that staccato, dude.
I would love
people air rack them.
I love 1911s.
I do too.
I think it's a very well balanced gun.
I like all metal guns. It's kind of cool.
Tobin, you have. I saw a big inhale.
Practical. I get the cool factor. And again, we're back to like, if you're a sport shooter and I like the idea of collecting like World War II era weapons and equipment.
But a 45 for a brown bear or even a grizzly, I feel better with that than I do a 9.
10 mil or 357.
Yeah, but I mean a 45 is bigger than a 9.
Slow.
That 9 mil is so just slow, ripping through them.
You got to learn the snout walk. What you want to do? You want to get a heel pick.
Yeah, dude.
And fake for the heel pick, and then go into the half Nelson. You got to get over the opposite shoulder, under the armpit, over the top of the snout.
What was that video?
Snap down, and then just hang on.
What is it?
Next week I'll show you the
it was the raccoon riding the board.
Yeah, you sent a video of that raccoon. It's like, what's your next move? It's like, can you snout lock them? Those teeth become a problem.
Fuck yeah, they do. They're fast, too.
There's a lot of videos online of guys picking up like badgers.
Oh, shit.
Wild.
Yeah, and they just like, one guy's looking at it.
Is this a stupid TikTok challenge?
No, it's like, I don't know. I guess it's my hunting videos, I say. Okay. But there's a lot of guys, hunters, and one guy will be in front of one, and the other guy sneaks behind it, picks it up, and it's just this angry fucking badger. Dude. And it's like,
I hope they get fucked up. You know, for every video you see where they don't, there's one where they got a hold of them.
I know, there's a couple.
Yeah.
There's multiple.
Oh, shit, dude.
No, but to go on a camping trip where it's just very, very basic shit, or it's like, okay, we get a 22 and 5 shots and a knife. Ready?
And the Boy Scout survival knife with the waterproof matches in it.
Oh, God. No, those things are horrible, dude.
The worst knives ever.
The fucking hollow handle.
How much did you love those things? They had a compass in the handle.
Oh, I thought it was
and
cool.
It had fish hooks
Rambo
and
matches.
When I
was 10 years old, I was this is the one.
This is the greatest thing that has ever happened in my life. It has like camouflage paint on the handle.
We were talking about this.
Get the fuck out of here.
My dad, he goes, when I was 5 years old, my uncle is hilarious. He gets me and my brother just a fucking smorgasbord of knives. And it's just like my brother was like, he's 18 months older than me, so he was like 6 or 7. I'm 5. And he gets us like, and they're like Bowie knives. Like some are like 10 and a half inches long. There's like daggers that look like the what is that? The Scream knife, there's it just, and he just like, here you go, boys. That and bullwhips.
What?
He was locked in as the coolest fucking uncle ever. And my mom's just like, what the fuck?
We used to buy daggers at the county fair. You'd save up like $14 and you get these like cool, like they're kind of shaped like a mini sword, fucking probably cheap ass steel knife.
Yeah.
But every year at the county fair,
cut the shit out of yourself with one though.
Yeah. Then we're 6th grade, 7th grade. We all got these fucking 9-inch knives that we bought from the fucking carny.
Did you go through?
That was America in the 80s, baby.
Yeah.
Did you guys
get
go
some stink
through
bombs and some poppets and fuck? It's a good night.
Did you go
solid
through?
Weekend.
Did you guys go through a butterfly knife stage? Where you would whip it around.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. I never had one. I wanted one so bad.
You never had one?
You get those at the county fair, dude.
You can go or a Korean gas station and a Scarface poster.
Yeah, no weed hat, a 420 hat.
yeah, and a Tupac fucking necklace.
Yeah, but he got us those and just started me on this. I like knives because of it. Affinity for these fucking knives because my uncle and my mom would lock them all away in a closet. And my dad was so pissed.
That you took them away?
Well, no, because...
Or pissed at your uncle for buying them for you.
Buying a 4-year-old a dagger and giving it to him. And then, having to, hide them in the closet. Me and my brother would, sneak in and, they'd find us playing with knives. And, what the fuck are you know?
I bought Lando a really cool Swiss Army knife for Christmas, and Jen made him put it in the fucking safe.
Oh, yeah. See, no, my dad was like, I swear to God, when he has a kid, I'm buying him a fucking chainsaw. Oh, he's so pissed. But I mean, it took all of 10 minutes after my uncle showed us how to crack the whips for my brother to whip me in the face.
Oh yeah,
Fuck.
That seems more dangerous to me than the
for
knife.
real. Take an eyeball out.
He smacked me in the face with it, and then another time.
And you never got a blood.
When I was buying these, it seemed like a good idea.
His first baseball bat, he got a batting tee and a baseball bat, and he's going out and he's playing with it. And the first thing my dad says is, "Don't hit your brother with it." And we walk out there and he sets up the tee.
Idea confirmed.
No, he sets up the tee and I walk up and I'm standing behind him watching, and he fucking swings one, and hits it, and then brings the baseball bat back faster than he brought it forward and cracks me in the face, splits my face open. I'm like, oh no. And I start doing this and I'm looking and I was a tough little shit. Yeah. So I wasn't crying or anything until my dad found out. And then I started freaking out because it was
he was worried.
He told you not.
Dad's pissed. And he took the baseball bat and he snapped it over his knee he was
Bo Jackson.
Oh, dude, I started bawling. I was like, oh my God, Dad's so bad. And I'm bleeding out the face. I have to go get stitches. And I'm just like, oh. Dad snaps that baseball bat. And to this day, my brother blames me that he doesn't have an MLB career because of it.
It broke him.
Yeah, he was like, I never got to play baseball because of you little fucker. Sorry, bro.
Checks out.
Sorry, dude. He was like, I could have made it pro. Never played baseball one day in your life, dude. Well, I tried.
It's because he hit you with a wiffle ball bat.
I was a wooden bat.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, good times.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
We're going to call it on...
I think it's time. We're running out of steam and we're wandering wildly.
Well, it just takes you back to the bats that they used in
the Amazon.
The Amazon.
Well, it was probably...
The wood is much better with that soil.
Amazon.
Yeah, loamy or whatever it is.
Yeah, dude, where do you think they got it from?
Terra Preta raised hardwood made in the Louisville bats.
The movie Predator shot in the Amazon, right?
Was it?
Terra Preta.
He comes from an ancient civilization, which is also Japan. And you're talking about Dark Ages, and that's a long time ago, too.
And it's dark soil.
Yeah.
And they're darker people?
Hey, leave us a review, guys. It helps us out.